To me, the Nomad Capitalist life was all about more. How to get more, how to be more, how to do more. And one of the big ways to do that is financially. Keeping more of your own money allows you to do a lot more. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 ways that I believe legal offshore tax reduction can help you, help your family, and help your business. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, the author of this book and the founder of Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. So how do you get more? One thing I have told people is you want to follow my 5 magic words. Go where you're treated best, not where you're treated a little bit better. I'm not a big fan of moving from California to Arizona. If you're already packing up the truck, you might as well take it as far as it can go. Go to Puerto Rico, go to Panama, go to Palau for all I care. Just go somewhere where they treat you best. Why? Because there's so much at stake. What I always tell people is, if you're making $1 million a year, that's the beginning of a 7-figure earning entrepreneur. $1 million a year, when you look at the $400,000 or $450,000 you might be paying in taxes in a year, living in a high-tax legacy brand country, imagine investing that even in a bond fund, even in something very conservative. Imagine what that could turn into, not only the income from that, but the actual investment, the principal itself over the course of 10 and 20 years. We're talking big changes, generational wealth, great giving. So the first thing that I want you to be aware of, the first money lesson is going overseas actually not only lowers your taxes, but it helps you earn more. It's the opposite compounding effect. So if you live in the United States, if you live in Australia, if you live in Denmark, you live in Norway, you make $1 million, you're giving close to half of it away. When you go overseas, let's say you live in Dubai, depending on your circumstances, you can keep up to 100% of that. A little bit more difficult for Americans, but for most people, you can keep 100% of that. You make $1 million, you keep $1 million. The cost of living does not have to be any higher, by the way, because there are plenty of places that are affordable and plenty of affordable places to live offshore with zero tax or very low tax. So you're already up a couple $100,000, several $100,000. But what I see time and time again is people coming back to me a year later, 2 years later, we become friends sometimes, and they say, I thought I was going to cap my business at $1 million. I thought that was it. I was just going to milk the tax savings, pocket an extra $4 million in the next decade. But what happened was I started thinking, because I started feeling more free, and I realized, I can get up to $1.5 million. And I hear that so often from people who not only on the back end actually did make more money that they got to keep. So they stopped paying $500,000, they kept that, and sometimes they made an extra $500,000 or whatever the numbers may be. I also hear people coming in when I really probe sometimes say, I probably could be doing better. I just don't see the point of earning anymore, because for what? The more you make, the higher the tax rate is. What am I doing all this to give 53 cents to Joe Biden and Andrew Cuomo or whoever else? I don't care if the politician's liberal or conservative or whatever the case may be. Tax rates in legacy brain countries are high. Even when they do these little reductions, Trump tax rates went into 37%. You're making $1 million, your top tax rate's 37% federal. It's just too much, and people don't want to earn more. So I think that this one's a hard one to explain, but you probably, if you ask yourself, you're probably not pushing as much as you can go. You're probably not hiring as much as you can. You're probably not expanding as much as you can, because you realize deep down, why take all the risks to keep half? When you're keeping it all, you take more risks. And when you go overseas and you uncover all the different opportunities where you can hire for a lower starting cost, where you can do whatever it may be, you're going to earn a lot more. I think potentially you could even double or triple your income in some cases. So that's the first thing. We've already got the lower taxes, but now we're earning more. The second thing is you're going to be able to spend more. You're going to be able to enjoy life more for you, your family, people around you. Why? Water seeks its own level. And I've told the story many times. The guy in Denmark, he works for a big 4 accounting firm, makes several €100,000 a year. But what do you do with that several €100,000 a year? You got to pay taxes, and then you've got to pay the Audi bill, the wife's Range Rover bill, for the house, the mortgage for the house in the nice neighborhood, the kid's private school bill. You may be going into debt. Your best case is you're probably going to break even. And in a sense, when I say water seeks its own level, they know that's what those kind of people are going to buy. That's what they're going to spend their money on. And what we've done in my life and in my companies, we've decided to become entirely asymmetrical. We have people working for us who make more money than most Americans, and they live in countries that are much cheaper, because we just decided to cut the tie where it says, oh, okay, This person on this salary is going to live in this neighborhood. It's going to cost this. So like, what do we need to get just to get them to break even? And like, maybe they've got a few scraps to throw at a vacation once a year, but they'll put that on the credit card. Create an asymmetrical experience between your income. Obviously, if you're making millions of dollars a year, of course, you can afford a lot of stuff. But removing that tax burden makes it a lot easier to spend. I can tell you it's much easier to spend and to do nice things, stay in nicer hotels. And the few times I'm relegated to staying in hotels, buying nicer gifts, eating nicer meals, buying higher quality stuff, getting that, better tailored suit. It's a lot easier when you know that you're keeping that money. Nothing wrong with paying some tax necessarily. But when you pay so much and they waste it, and this is why especially we hear from people in the US and the UK, all the English-speaking countries, right? Maybe you live in Norway and you think paying 55% is fantastic, you're getting your money's worth, that's great. But for those of us who always felt this money's being flushed down a toilet bowl, it's nice to know. There's a sense of harmony, and in a sense, there's a lot of strategy around this, but I think the human element is so important. How do you be in full alignment when you're giving half of your money, or almost half, to a business partner that did no work, took no risks, and burns the money immediately upon receiving it practically? And so I think once that is out, you're going to be more free to spend, you're going to enjoy life more. I happen to think that makes you more productive, which is part of why, particularly after cutting my ties with the US, I went and started building my property portfolio around the world where I can decorate homes the way I want. I can set everything up the way I want. I can get the fastest Wi-Fi speeds that no hotel or Airbnb owner would dare spend. And I can have a great experience for myself where I just feel good in my own properties. And therefore I can be more productive, I can contribute more, I can get more done. It all works together. Now, the number 3 thing, which several of our guests at Nomad Capitalist Live mentioned to me, they said, you should talk more about this, is giving more. Again, if you don't have that much left over, giving is going to be last on the priority list for a lot of people. What's been incredibly important to me is saying, you know what? Rather than giving 40 cents on the dollar to a government who wastes it and then spits on you in return, why not go and say, all right, I'm going to pick a percentage. Could be whatever you want. It could be 1%, 5%, whatever you want. And I'm going to give that to worthy causes that I've got a bit more time, or I can afford to hire someone, especially someone in an emerging market. I'm going to have them vet, or I'll vet the charities. And we'll put together a list of charities that I'm going to give to, causes that are important. It could also just be helping people around you. I've had some situations where, someone needs a surgery, they don't have the money, I'm gonna do that for you. Or causes for things that are important to you. Obviously right now you've got a lot of socialist politicians around the world who they get really angry when you give your money to charity because they want to be the charity and they want to grift their 75% of it out to be squandered on dumb stuff and consulting fees and all their salaries to then go and benefit people who don't even appreciate it. I think the value of being successful and the value of being successful on your own terms where you dictate the financial terms is being able to then go out and give to people who genuinely need it. In my case, I look at giving as a pyramid. What's the biggest problem we can face right now that I feel passionate about and I want to solve, right? I'm not talking about, some guy with a hangnail in Scottsdale, Arizona who, let's cure hangnails. Not to worry, that guy can wait. We got bigger problems. But I'm saying go out and find causes where you feel good about. And I think that, it's a lot easier to do, again, as a human, the human element of saying, I have all this extra money. I'm going to spend a lot more of it, but you can only spend so much of it. I'm going to invest a bunch of it, but I'm going to make sure that things that are important that I contribute to. Now, by the way, there are ways where I think you can turn that into residence or citizenship or, other elements. Just from the pure desire of giving, I think there's a great feeling that comes from doing that. And so again, rather than giving much greater amount to a government that hates you, getting a sense of love, getting a sense of appreciation, getting to see where your money is going, which no government's ever going to let you do for the most part, is a very valid thing. I think it contributes to the human existence. I think it's very worthwhile. So those are 3 things that I think you'll do. You'll earn more, you'll spend more, you'll enjoy life more, and you'll give more. Now, of course, you'll also save more. Okay, that's the end result of all this. After you earn more, after you spend more on nicer stuff, and after you give more, the fact that at the very beginning you reduce your taxes means you'll still be able to save more. You'll be able to put more aside in investments, which of course, investing begets more investing. You'll earn more cash flow. Your asset values will hopefully grow. You'll be creating a legacy for future generations. And I think potentially, if you believe in all these things, you will allow your family to have a better life than you did. You'll allow them to be giving and continue the spirit of giving. And I think that overall, we're creating a cycle here that is very positive for value creation, for enjoyment and happiness of life, which is a great, very important thing, and for helping other people, developing happiness, getting a sense of love back. I think those are all great things, all that come from how do I reduce my taxes by going overseas, following Nomad Capitalist's tax-friendly quadrant. We're talking about dramatic lifestyle, happiness, and legacy to the tune of millions, if not tens of millions of dollars for a lot of entrepreneurs just by taking that first step offshore. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.